All right, ciao, salve, can't say that without being racist, and hello. All right, first of all, it feels unique, but basically every linguistics and multilingual college student opens up with this, so not being that unique there. Second of all, you vibe coded this whole thing. I can immediately tell. First of all, this comet trail is straight. It's not angled backwards because you don't know CSS. This glow is classic AI gradient. I don't know what you use, maybe cursor, maybe something like heavier like base 44 or I don't know, what's the other one? V0 or some shit that like can one-shot an entire app because this looks like it was one-shotted. I can tell immediately by this gradient animation and the matching gradients here. And then also your AI icons are everywhere. Like what the fuck is this shit? Like a record? And what's this shit? It's literally AI hallucination slop. And you've got this kind of interesting constellation idea, kind of space theme, but there's no way you were able to pull off this CSS. I mean, it's not like that hard. You just like math out random and index points to the canvas and like apply a style programmatically to the elements, but I doubt you know how to do that yet. And then we've got, yeah, what the fuck is this shit, a kite? These hovering buttons are an interesting idea, but it's completely invalidated by the fact it's all vibe coded and none of your creative. And also, you can immediately tell when something is vibe coded because you see this white, ugly ass scroll bar. A human who designed something like this from scratch and put in all these hours of work would immediately see and get rid of that scroll bar because it feels very out of place. Someone who vibe coded this shit in 30 seconds and doesn't know about design would not think to look into that. All right, and then I guess these are all just links. Let's see if they, oh yeah, these should be behind because visually they're smaller. They look like they're part of this star constellation and you didn't z-index properly to get them like that, which is another great sign of vibe coding. Other than that, this is not terrible. But resume and CV, that's really weird. You know, CV it's like curriculum vitae. It's Latin for, well, you probably speak Latin. It's like your course of life or something. You don't have a CV when you're an undergrad. You just don't do that. Putting resume and CV next to each other is like so unbelievably pretentious. All right, and then we've got a see more unclickable element. You've got to scroll. All right, programming. My skill constellation, seriously, bro? Are you in 4th grade? What the fuck? All right, React, Advanced, JavaScript. Okay, this shit is this pisses me off whenever I see it. These like boards of different frameworks with like little skill tiers next to them. Because who the fuck cares about your qualifications of a skill when you have like barely any experience? Yeah, I'm self-proclaimed advanced at React, which first of all just makes you sound super like overconfident and yeah, it's a very bad look. And second of all, if you're ever at an interview and they see this is just like a perfect attack vector for what if they ask you something like, "Oh, do you know how to use like what's a use case for use memo or use ref? You know, some like slightly more advanced hook or can you tell me like what a fiber is?" You're fucked. And there's not a huge chance they'll do that, but yeah, I'd suspect that you're not as advanced at React as you think, especially if you vibe coded this whole thing in Next.js. And same thing with all these other things. They could ask you hard questions about all of them, but especially React because there are some like slightly more advanced things. And if you don't even understand the dependency array of a use effect hook, I would not be putting advanced on here. I don't completely know your ability, but based on this static website that you brought in Next fucking JS for, I don't think you really know how to use React. And JavaScript, that's another thing that's like advanced. You can go from advanced JavaScript, in my opinion, is like far, far beyond anything like I even know how to do. That's like fucking ridiculous. I guess that gets into TypeScript a little bit, but that's like at the point where you're making kind of lower level like UI libraries yourself with stuff like fibers and concurrency and resumability and hydration shit. That is not like this static website you vibe coded, and also, by the way, does not look like it's even routed. I don't know why. Like, this is probably not Next.js because, yeah, this is all, I'm guessing, we haven't seen yet, but this is all like just rendered on the client. And yeah, it's ridiculous to consider yourself advanced in JavaScript if that's what you're doing. And then other things like proficient and familiar, like how do you even quantify that shit? It's basically meaningless to me, especially with all this vibe coding around here. But I guess let's go on to data. All right, I don't know why putting Excel on your resume is ridiculous when you understand like programming languages like TypeScript or Rust. It's like fucking obviously you know Excel. Oh, and in God we trust, do not put your religious stuff on websites. Yeah, just don't do that kind of thing. It's Because first of all, you don't want to like rub anyone the wrong way. I mean, maybe you'll find your religious crowd, but it's also like just I wouldn't inject religion into this. Keep it separate. Also, who the fuck puts like their IDE on their resume? I mean, not me, that's for sure. But yeah, and again, it's like advanced. Like, how advanced do you consider yourself? Is you dragging squares around and knowing like Figma templates advanced? Do you know about like selection drilling or variables in Figma? Like, how advanced are you actually? It's just like all this credibility is gone. And then languages, all right, there's nothing that wrong. Carthago delende est. I don't know what this Carthage must be. Carthage must be destroyed. Is that imperative? It's been a while since I've taken Latin. All right, and then it looks like all the stuff here, dev and data and language, like all this terminology is kind of confusing too. And here's another great example of your icons kind of like going in front of things in awkward ways. Oh, here's a great example. At the very bottom, this fucking whatever coffee fucking AI icon shit is in front of your view repo button. So yeah, that's just embarrassing. All right, let's look at your projects. First of all, a bunch more. Oh, I gotta quit my Discord. Link Harzu's probably blowing it up. You've got a bunch more super fucked AI icons. Like, what is this shit? The moon with crumbs coming off of it? Like a butt with a frying pan being inserted into it? What the fuck? And what is like this narrow ass fucking. And you see that little visual artifact right there? It's because it's diffusion generated. And if you claim to be advanced at Figma, the shit would be so easy to whip up, but you don't even fucking know how to export things as SVGs, I'd guess. All right, and then AstroPare, Predictive Astrophysics Trend Engine. And like, why the fuck are you giving all these things like names like they're Silicon Valley companies? This shit is like, these are side projects. They don't need fucking fancy ass names. Predictive Analytics Engine leveraging NLP and anomaly detection to identify emerging research trends from vast data sets of academic astrophysics papers. The model parses and analyzes text to forecast new areas of scientific focus. Okay, either this was fucking written by AI or you're just buzzword spamming to oblivion and it might as well be written by AI because that says nothing. I have no idea what that, like, what the fuck does that even do? I guess let's look at the repo. Apparently this should be able to, like, find new trends in science, which I'm guessing it won't at all because of your programming ability and the amount of vibe coding you're doing, but it's so cringy to like overplay your abilities dramatically with these paragraphs of like corporate nothingness text. Okay, and we've got 100% pure Python. Where's the Python? Oh, app.py. Updated UI. Dude, are you serious? 132 line project that you're claiming will. Also, look at these comments and these emojis. This shit is so fucking vibe coded. And you're using Streamlit too. That's pathetic. Cognitive echoes, NLP analysis of emission neglect. Okay, so is this some psychology stuff? Computational psychology project leveraging NLP to detect linguistic markers of emission neglect within online bipolar disorder communities. Built a custom data pipeline machine learning model to classify text based on cognitive bias indicators. Okay, you didn't build that. You fucking vibe coded out a LangChain application that doesn't work. And your link doesn't even fucking work either because you vibe coded everything. And view repo, yeah, that other one doesn't either. And this is Double In, the screen time accountability app, a mobile application. Wow, that's fucking not redundant. Designed to foster healthier digital habits. Users set personalized screen time limits and deposit funds that are donated to charity if limits are exceeded, creating a tangible incentive to disconnect. Wow, we needed that last sentence fragment. Yeah, Jesus Christ, what a fucking LinkedIn-ass portfolio. This vibe coding, like, I don't get why people don't realize this. If it was this easy for you to make these cool visual effects, it's this easy for everyone else. The visual appeal just goes way down, and how impressive it is goes way down. You've just set the new bottom for what's acceptable. And now it's like even, I would consider having some kind of CRUD app that looks horrible to be more impressive than this. Also, way overkill on this glow gradient. That shit looks awful. Just because you can slap that much glow and neon on something doesn't mean it's the style. Also, look at this fucking shit. You're rounding. I don't know what you had under here and what vibe-coded slop churned this shit out, but Why the fuck is this little blue thing and purple thing visible? How is that even fucking possible? How do you do that? That's honestly harder than just like making a gradient and rounding it. It's, I bet, because you use Tailwind and then you vibe coded like actual CSS on top of that without realizing it. So if we go to Command Option J, fucking, I don't remember. Okay. The inspector, I bet we're going to see Tailwind classes because this is vibe coded Next.js. Yep, Tailwind classes right there. Makes sense. And then that's like going to be some kind of class outside of the Tailwind. All right, and then you've got some skills. And what the fuck is this icon for chess? You picked like a corporate graph icon. How the fuck does that represent chess? Same thing here with this vibe coded CSS. Also, ugly as fuck hover animation with visual artifacts around the edges. You see that kind of tearing? And this gradient is hideous, dude. It's fucking horrendous. And then also, what is this, an air conditioner unit? And why is the hover white on that? And why does this not have a hover, like, glow and the other buttons do? It's like, so inconsistent. All right, and now I covered a lot of the programming stuff. Let's see what your writing is like. Piano is one of the things that combines logic and creativity for me. Dude, that's so basic and soulless and corporate. Combines logic and creativity, and it's only for you. This is a subjective experience for me. Also, how is that unique to like any hobby? You could say that about anything. Replaying a classical piece not only satisfies my soul with each stroke of the key, but reminds me of the little moments we have in life. Holy fucking corporate, dude. This is like, I don't think it's a run-on sentence, but it gets close. It's very grammatically awkward. And why the fuck would you say satisfies my soul and with the stroke of each key? How pretentious can you fucking get? That's actually despicable. The most current piece I'm working on is Prelude C by Bach. Most current, that's kind of redundant. And if it's not redundant fully, it's just like super annoyingly corporate. Like, why? The most current, yeah, it's just like, what are you talking to, like the board of directors? That's, yeah, that is just embarrassing. And then, look how inconsistent your hover animations are. You got the gradient there? What the fuck is this inverted gradient? What is that shit? That's so vibe coded. All right, and then chess with this icon and a lighthouse, I guess. What's, I didn't click on the button before. Project Spotlight, Chad Piano. Okay, so you're outing yourself heavily as Gen Z, an AI-powered sheet music reader that utilizes, never fucking say utilizes. If you claim to like writing, never use that word. Computer vision to interpret and transcribe musical notation in real time. So like your eyes. Wow, nice one. That's AI slop. All right, let's go on to the next thing, chess. I accidentally took with me a book on how to play chess while going to Italy back in May. Oh my god, that's a bad sentence. First of all, I accidentally took with me. You ever heard of the word brought? Why did you say it in such a weird order? And accidentally, that's a fucking convenient way to introduce this story. Oh yeah, I just happened to have this really advanced book with me and then I read it. During a train ride to Lucca, also we don't care about the Italy narrative at all because there's no personal connection. You're just trying to get hired off this website. I mean, put your interesting stories if you have them, but this isn't interesting. You're just telling me you went to Italy without any other substance, so I don't give a fuck. Like back in May, who the fuck cares when the date of that trip was? During a train ride to Lucca, I opened the book and read it cover to cover. Oh yeah, you would open a book and then not read it. And also cover to cover should be hyphenated. From then on, I've been obsessed with chess. Also, you don't capitalize chess. It's not a proper noun like that. Part of me wants to beat this particular individual. Okay, who the fuck are you talking about? That's so vague and melodramatic. But I'm not sure we'll see the day where we face each other. Is that supposed to be some kind of threat or something? Oh, you better watch out, unnamed individual. There's a small chance I'll come across you, but only part of me wants to beat you, so you'll be fine. And then also, what the fuck? What is that shit? Oh my god, that's ugly. It's just like an AI slop generated thing. And what is this supposed to be? Like a lighthouse? Like a traffic cone? What the fuck? Project Spotlight Chess Buddy, an advanced predictive AI engine designed to analyze chess gameplay. So like every fucking person's project ever. Like a very shitty version of AlphaZero. It leverages machine learning algorithms to infer opening, repertoires, and positional tendencies by correlating game history with psychometric inputs. What the fuck does that mean? Offering a unique analytical perspective on a player's style. Yeah, so like really shitty stockfish. And this fucking shit is one Python file. I bet this is like 10 lines long. Wow. How the fuck did you even, sorry, I'm swearing a lot. This is pissing me off. How would you even make a project like do anything in that few amount of lines? Okay. So you're hitting an API endpoint. Nice. Uh, let's see, what else is there to roast? I already roasted all these projects. Yeah, that was one of the worst resumes. Well, I'll check your resume out too. Is that your LinkedIn? That doesn't look like your LinkedIn. Yeah, that's not you. That's awkward. Prompt engineering on your resume? Really, dude? Really? Man, I had more hope for you than that. Passively fluent in Latin. What does passively fluent even mean? Also, you vibe coded your whole resume in LaTeX, it looks like, because the indentation and stuff is really inconsistent, and the emphasis on random things is also pretty inconsistent. I would just take the time to do it. And also, you really had to do a second page here that's just blank. What the fuck? Yeah, this whole thing is like actually just humiliating. I'm like shocked. There's no way you can get any kind of job in a white collar environment doing kind of stuff like this. Just first of all, actually, I'll go on to saying some somewhat nice stuff. Like, I've heard you say like kind of trash on the LinkedIn speak and all of this stuff and vibe coding. Like, you're aware enough to know that it's bad, but you're not actually yet subscribing to your own beliefs. So you've really got to just like knock all of this bullshit and just completely reinvent yourself, because this is 500 million other people will do this. The absolute best case is you're going to end up in the very bottom tier of engineers at some shitty third tier company, and you're going to be the first one to get fired with shit like this, because everyone else can vibe code. You're not, there's nothing special about this here at all. Yeah, this is pretty terrible, quite frankly. I've only seen a handful of resumes and websites that are this bad, because just vibe coding does not, this style is not impressing anyone. That's such a dead meta. But I do think you have like at least the clarity to start working towards stuff. You have to just put actual work in. Another thing is, which I've been kind of guilty of in the past, way too much emphasis on what people, like the forward facing parts of the project, when the project itself is barely a project. You should put 10 times more effort into making the project and like a tenth of the effort into advertising it. Because just, yeah, it looks embarrassing to try to shout so loudly out at the world for such a shitty product. Yeah, I think way too much time in advertising. Honestly, I think you have two options here. You can keep going into computer science, but realize that you have to put in about 100 times more work to catch up to where other people are, because vibe coding this stuff and watching a few tutorials is just the very beginning. It's a grind every day, and it will be for the rest of your life. Or you could just go into psychology or something instead, because this is not a field you can just waltz into because vibe coding can make it seem like you can churn out stuff. You will get absolutely flamed alive in a technical interview. And even at a very third tier company, they do put real engineers in charge of hiring, and they can immediately tell when you vibe code and when you don't know what you're talking about. And you have basically no chance of getting through to them. So yeah, I don't think you're totally lost and hopeless, because you realize some of this stuff yourself, and you've talked about it, I think, also on your YouTube channel a little bit. But yeah, just take a taste of your own medicine. I also think maybe you're too stuck in your own ways and listen to other people, and are too, just based on like how you're promoting your projects, and you look to other people too much. You're much more of a follower than you are a free thinker. And also that's kind of evident in your like putting religion on your thing. You're the type of religious guy that's religious because his parents are, and never truly questioned it himself. You may think you have, but you never really have. And the sad thing is with that, it's like a major psyop, because even if you really spend the time to get outside of your own head and your own like psychological preconditioning, even if you can not believe in your religious brainwashing for a little bit, you'll always come back to it, because it was how you're raised. And as a psychology major, it's kind of ridiculous to be looking at all these other things and not realize that major thing about yourself. Not saying that religion is bad, there's a lot of good elements to it, but you're very blinded by everything around you, and I think you're just accepting everything as truth without really thinking about it yourself. Yeah, that's my 2 cents there. Yeah, just an atrocious website overall, man. Really, really bad. So my advice is just buckle down really hard and do actual work and ignore the rest of the world. Stop trying to become a spectacle yourself when you don't have anything to show yet, when you don't have any major skills to show off. And I would honestly, like one shortcut to this, because it can take a very long time to break out of these belief ruts. You could honestly, and I'm not even joking here, do like LSD or mushrooms. That might help you get out of your current thought loop, but it also can have a kind of destructive effect if done in too big a dose, but at least it could give you some, it could get you out of your head for a little bit, and hopefully you can see how much of a disaster and how much of a path towards mediocrity you're on with this vibe coding. All right, I'll catch you next time.